I'm going to say why I believe the modern West to already be totalitarian, and also what motivates people towards totalitarianism psychologically. There's a sort of bell curve of totalitarianism that the thing that prevents totalitarianism is a strong culture. This is why there are basically not a single totalitarian regime in the history of Islam or India, given these are societies which have been theocracies in which the religion is strong enough that the state can't gain incredible power. There's a sort of middle ground, of which the Middle Ages is an easy historic example, in which the religion and the society is strong enough that it can keep the state from growing too much. One of the things de Tocqueville and Francis Fukuyama writes is that the biggest protectors of freedom are social institutions, which can include the church, the nobility, guilds, a capitalist economy, local elites, and stuff like that. The short answer is that the protection against totalitarianism is having a culture where people can organize outside the state. This is why the bowling alone style breakdown of traditional social communities are so dangerous to personal freedom, since when people meet up in person, they don't need the state. The state and bureaucracy exist as tools of social organization once the organic culture has already failed. This is why the Marxist authors like Gramsci were so obsessed with breaking down traditional religion and organic social ties so that the state and communists could fill the void. Once a culture is developed organically, it can develop a sub-variety of different elites which are capable of competing with the others. What I've said before is that I believe the most important thing for a society is a sub-variety of different elites in which they can compete with each other. The great danger of totalitarianism is that the singular government tries to consume everything. This is the great factor which always kills societies and empires over history, the over-centralization of power into a single social class. What totalitarianism offers is a freedom from freedom, in that people often look for very rigid belief structures in order to counterbalance the chaos of their lives, especially with how rapid change is in the industrial world. Modernist totalitarianism is partly an outgrowth of the feminine panicking due to the breakdown of the family structure of which women have been completely dependent for most of human history. The state offers them unconditional protection without expecting anything in return. Those who support the totalitarian are those who are psychologically feminine. That's since the feminine is innately totalizing in that it craves complete domination, being unable to think or worry anymore since it's been so fucked. The state is a dildo. My favorite writer, Amaury de Riaucourt, likes to say that you know a revolution will work when young women support it, given there's a switch when young women will go from the most vociferous supporters of the old regime to the revolution, which occurred in both the French and Russian revolutions alongside the rise of Nazi Germany. Even in the hyper-masculine totalitarian societies like Nazi Germany, this is a very emotional, romantic concept of masculinity that women can admire. The most vociferous supporters of the Nazis were young women who got off on the romantic heroism. This is why democracy only succeeds in hyper-masculine warrior societies like the English, Americans, Athenians, or Romans, and then as they grow wealthier, the democracies fall into decadent Caesarism. The core demographics the totalitarians hate the most are the nobility, merchants, and church, which are the demographics which root the population in either the past, land, or God, and pull the populace away from the totalizing impulse pushed by the government.